green chakra, anahata, is located in the heart center. So I've included all the things I love. Here's my kids. My husband's videoing. There's books I love in the corner. And we're going to come up to sit. I'm not going to sit on that blanket, but you might find it more comfortable. And we're going to start with alternate nostril breathing. So take your first finger and your middle finger and tuck them into the palm of your hand. Bring your thumb to one side of your nostril and breathe in through the other nostril. Close with your ring finger, open the thumb, and exhale completely. Inhale on that same side, close the thumb, open the ring finger, and exhale through the other side. We actually only breathe through one side of the nostril at a time. So this is a really good way for clearing. The green chakra is all about breathing. It governs the lungs, really important areas of the immune system, our thymus. If you're leaning forward over a computer all day, this is going to be a really important practice for you. Bring your hands back behind you and lift that area we just talked about, the chest, the sternum. Let the neck hang back if that works for you. You probably have kids in the house if you're a mom, and this might be a closer look of reality. So my daughter Sierra is going to turn around backwards so you can see this next practice. Stretch your right arm up overhead. Take your left arm, thumb down to internally rotate it. Now her fingers touch. She's the only one in the family who can touch her fingers. But that's what it looks like if your hands are just simply open and pressing into your back. Keep reaching the elbow up towards the ceiling and the opposite elbow down, and just breathe into the chest. Make fists before you unwind, and then tap out your feet. You may notice from my eldest Sierra that our toes are tucked under as you lift your left arm up overhead. Internally rotate the right arm. And this could be excruciating on your toes, but just try to take a few breaths, stretching into the backs of the arms, across the front of the chest, and through those toes. Make fists before you come out. And then let's come up for a camel stretch. So reach the arms up and back. Yeah, we're all trying to live in the same space. I'm sure you know how that is. And lift up. Notice how the fingertips are facing up, right on what I think are your haunches. Yeah, my son's having a little trouble with his neck. Don't push it on that camel. Just take a gentle stretch. And then let's try to come on our hands and knees. All right, taking a few cat and cows, just arch the back and round, articulating through the vertebrae and breathing in as you relax the spine, exhaling everything out. Inhaling, arching, and exhaling, rounding. Get ready to come up to a downward facing dog. Now, if you have little ones in the house, they're probably a little wild like my 10-year-old and is just going to climb around the room. This is totally unimportant. Remember, this yoga practice is different for everyone. So just practice letting go. Inhale, coming into a plank. We're going to work on a little bit of a fun stretch. I'm going to do this later on in the practice, but let's see it with the kids, what it would look like now. So on your belly, lift up the front of the chest, reaching your arms straight back. You could lift your feet and turn your cheek to one side and relax. On the next one, bend the legs, flex the feet. You're not going to reach back and grab them yet, but you're taking that action that you're reaching back. So we're using the muscles as opposed to just hooking on the feet right away and stretching them. And turn your cheek to the other side. You can see my 10-year-old's not listening to a thing I say. Again, just let go. This time we're going to grab the feet. You could take a stretch up into a bow pose, which I'll demonstrate later, or just rock around and let it be nice and juicy. Let's take a little child's pose to round the lower back and wiggle any of this out of the spine. And then coming up onto your hands and your knees, stretch the left leg straight back. Now, I'm showing this with a modification, and my daughter's showing this in a full plank, but we're gonna reach back and take hold of that top foot. Now, I'm gonna do this later in the practice when you're more warmed up, so you might wanna stay in that first stretch I did. Go ahead and wiggle that out. I just know these younger children like to take the challenge. So here's the stretch. Right leg back. I'm just opening up into a modified side plank. And then, like my son's doing, you can reach back for your foot. Or like my daughter, you could be doing this in a full side plank. Let it be playful, wiggle it out. And then let's go ahead and come back to your downward facing dog. I'm going to get out of the picture so you can see them more clearly. In your forward fold, walk forward, shake it out, and then gently roll up. Now my kids are very good. They are practicing with me, but they are not yogis, and that's about the extent of their attention span. So thank you both. There's Lincoln and Sierra. And I'll go ahead and go through that practice with you. Now, hopefully you just took as a little warm up, and let's open that heart chakra. Take a deep breath in, lift those arms up overhead, and exhale, forward fold. Bring the hands to the shins and inhale, flat back. And then bring the hands down to the floor and step your right foot back and left foot back into plank pose. Lower down, reverse push-up all the way down to about an inch before the floor, and then glide forward into a baby cobra or an upward dog. Good, loosen up that neck, lift the hips up and over the toes into downward facing dog. Stretch your right leg up, back behind you, and then bring it forward up in between the hands and rotate your left heel down into warrior one. I'm going to take that same arm position with my opposite arm as my leg forward. So left elbow high, right elbow low. I'm gonna move forward and see if I can tip into warrior three by lifting up that back leg. Awesome, make fists as you open the arms and slowly unfold until your right fingertips are on the ground and you're finding a half moon balance. Now this is only if you want to move forward, bend the knee back and see if you can grab hold of the foot. Your choice. Breathing into that body and then let go and shake it out in a forward fold. Really, really loose and floppy. And then roll up to stand and we'll try it on the other side. Shake it out, inhale, reach the arms up overhead and exhale, forward fold. Hands to the shins, inhale up, flat back. And then exhale, bring the hands down and step the feet left foot back and then right foot back into plank pose. Lowering down into your reverse push-up, glide forward into that big heart opener and then up over the toes into your downward facing dog. Left leg this time, when you're ready, stretches up and back behind you and steps forward for warrior one, which means my right foot's at about a 45-degree angle and I'm coming up with my legs not too narrow. This time my right elbow is up on top and my left hand internally rotated and is on bottom. When I'm ready, I'm going to bend into that front leg and start tipping until I can lift the back leg in flight. When I need to, I make fists just to keep those muscles contracted and safe from overstretching, and reach my left fingertips towards the ground. Only if you want to, bend that top knee and see if you can make contact with that foot. From there, you're arching the back and billowing out the body like you're a sail on a boat. And before you fall, let go and shake it out in a forward fold. Wiggle your hips. Give your legs a little hug, maybe. And then roll it up to stand. Big breath in, come all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. We're just going to flow from one move to the next. Hands on the shins, inhale, flat back. And exhale, you're going to step one foot or the other, or simply spring the feet back into that plank pose. Lowering down, reverse push-up, and up into your heart-opening upward dog, and over the toes into downward dog. Coming forward into side plank. Here's the position that the kids did earlier. You can bend the bottom knee to make it a little bit easier, and then bend the back knee and grab hold. This is a little bit easier than the previous position. From a full side plank, you'll get even more challenge, so you decide which one feels right for you today. But here I'm really billowing into the back. Now step the foot down behind you and lift up. This is a little modified back bend. I call it the Bob Fosse pose. Come forward into a plank pose, reverse your push-up. Take your upward dog and downward dog, just to sort of shake that out of the body. We're gonna do the other side. So my right arm is lifted, I'm up into a side plank. And here is the full version, or I can remember, bend your left knee. And this is what it looks like in the bent knee version. You'll get just as much stretch, and the only variation here is when I go into that Bob Fosse pose, I step that foot back behind my other foot, and I have to stretch the left foot out long. Bob Fosse was a dancer, and in the all black and the big overarched stretches, so feel like a dancer in that moment from Chicago or something. Into your plank pose, reverse the push-up, and come all the way down to the ground. We're going to do the other positions you saw the kids do. So feet together here. You're gonna lift up, legs reaching back towards the back wall, chest reaching towards the front wall. I am surfing on my belly. And then turn one cheek to the side. You can wiggle your hips. Next one, you're going to bend the legs, flex the feet. Come to your forehead or your chin. Hands back. Now remember, I'm not grabbing my feet, but I'm reaching towards them. Knees reaching towards the opposite wall, feet towards the ceiling, and crown of my head actually reaching forward. And when you release, let the legs windshield wipe back and forth. For the final one, we are going to grab the feet. So take a moment to tuck those heels close to your buttocks. Reach back for the feet, and this stretch might be enough for you. This is a great quadriceps stretch on the front of the thighs. You want to go on, breathe into the body, stretch the legs straight back, and they will lift your heart and chest, broadening the sternum and collarbones. And if you want to play, roll over to Ron's side. This is a really delicious stretch. And the only way you can do bow pose if you're pregnant. Skipping, of course, this part where you roll over the belly and onto the other side. Try to do that as relaxed as possible so that you just flow from one side to the other. The top leg might give a little bit more stretch. And of course, you could have stayed right here in your bow pose. Breathing in. Reversing that computer hunchback. And then wiggle the legs out as you relax. All right, let's come back into a child's pose with the knees open wide and the toes together. I'm going to end this with a really delicious pose. So if you have a blanket or a towel, open it all the way out and you're going to roll it up. Now you might want to stop halfway if you feel like your chest is really tight. If you roll it all the way up, that is obviously a little higher, and I'm going to take a pillow so that my head can rest on top. I want to bring this down to my bra strap or my just underneath the shoulder blades, so I see my elbows and shoulders reach up and over it. Now bent knees here is going to be the easiest. I'm going to open the arms and I can bring my knees together, and that should take the pressure off the back. But if you feel like you can, let's move into a cobbler pose with the soles of my feet together and my knees open wide. This is also called a goddess pose. If you only had 2 minutes today or tomorrow, just do this pose. It will really help reverse that forward shoulder chest slump that constricts your lungs and makes breathing more difficult. And if it was too much to open the arms out to the side, you could rest them on your belly and your heart. Just try to take deep breaths and feel all of the muscles letting go and expanding around that heart center. Feeling that compassion for what's going on and those people around us, all the suffering. And let's gently, gently bring the legs in. Knees together. As we come off to the side, we're going to roll over to one side and gently bring that blanket out from underneath us. No sudden movements. We don't want to contract the muscles accidentally. And just come back to the back. We're really going to slow down. Bring the fingers to the heels. And let's take one little bent knee bridge, lifting up those hips and keeping the hands underneath you. My knees reaching straight back for the wall behind me. The neck, the heart, everything relaxed. And when you come down, start at the top of the vertebrae and drop one vertebrae at a time. Relax completely. Go ahead and bring your knees in to circle them around, massage the back and the neck and the hips. You can make little circles, and let's take a happy baby. So bend the knees and reach out to the outside edges of your feet. Babies are so happy that they can reach their feet, and if you can reach your feet, I would be happy too. That is excellent. Go ahead and rock back and forth and hug your right knee in. We're going to take a gentle twist, bringing this across the body. This is to relieve any spinal tension you may have developed during the practice. Gently roll back, bringing your opposite knee in, and stretch your right leg like you're going to stand on it and draw the left knee across the body. Taking deep breaths in and really exercising the capacity of your lungs, and deep breaths out. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Even tighten up like a little bumblebee and release everything. Really time to let go. Let's bring our hand, one to the belly and one hand to the heart, and just feel the energy that you have inside, all of this compassion. And when you're ready to share that, release. Palms up. Letting that energy just emanate from your body as you rest in a few last breaths. This is a time of forgiveness, really letting go, bringing your feet in and stretching your arms up over your head and rolling to the right side. Here's a little trick for getting up. I send the top leg out with a little bit of energy, and then my body falls up gently. And bring your feet together into whatever comfortable seated position works for you. Feeling all of that energy in the body, feeling that love and compassion. Open the hands, bring them up over the heart and down to the third eye and the mouth and the heart for right thought, right speech, and right compassion. Namaste.